Alright, so in this video I'm going to be talking about one of the first sort of complete weapons in my game. This is an AR15, as many of you probably know. This is actually not my model, it was done by, I'll put his name up on screen, but it's from Sketchfab, and I've basically rigged it myself and made all my own animations for it, and rigged it to my custom player model. And even added some of my own attachments. So I believe the scope is, but I've added like a suppressor and a bunch of other modifications. I've also incorporated it all again into my own custom first-person character here. So this is my character blueprint. Then I have a data table where I can easily add new guns. And here's all basically the stuff I've been tweaking to produce the AR15, which we'll get onto a playtest demo of it in a sec here. Close this out so I can talk about it a little bit more. So. Effectively, I'll go to the pickup. So effectively, when it comes to creating a weapon in my pipeline, effectively first, I can actually probably find the rigging I did for it. Right, so I didn't save it. I believe I did it on my laptop. So I'll give you guys a demonstration in Maya of how I rigged the AR15. I will actually have to find the model again, or I could probably export it actually. So what I'll do is I'll export the static mesh so we can start off with an unrigged mesh and then we'll go from there. So I'll just go like this. Just going to create a cube and F that in so I can reset a center. Man, my control's coming from what do you call it? Unreal is always annoying. So AR15 demo rig. So I actually did a kind of sloppy rigging for the AR15, I'm not gonna lie. I probably could have done a better job, but it is what it is. So ultimately I should have separated the magazine and all the different elements for animating, but I didn't do that. I kind of did a lazy way, which I'll get onto later when I show you how I implemented an engine. But effectively all I did was quite literally go to rigging, and then I applied, I selected, what did I do? No, I went here, I just simply dragged and created some easy bones. Why is that not? Oh yeah, that's right. So I simply just created some easy bones, so I'll just create one here for the roots, one here for the, for the muzzle. So I really didn't do anything crazy. Yeah, I didn't do that. So that's pretty much all I did for the entire thing. We'll line it up here in a sec. Whoops. And I'll go back to modeling. And I'm going to select this. I'm simply just going to... Oh, where's that? There we go. I just need to drag this into the weapon here. That's not selecting a little bit. That's really annoying. Oh, I think I know why. Actually, I need to recreate this. I've actually made a pretty big oopsie. So I'm going to... this isn't the proper way to do rigging for weapons, by the way. This is sort of my lazy way for this weapon. I would recommend separating all the parts out, so grabbing the model... Oh, why is it still creating roots? So I recommend grabbing the model and then going mesh, separate, and then, you know, grabbing all of the different UV shells. So, you know, you can just go like this, and that pretty much grabs most of the mag. Hang on. Grab this a little bit better here. And that pretty much grabs most of the magazine there. Minus this bit here, I don't want that. So we've already grabbed the magazine there, a little bit more than we need. And then we'll separate these all into layers. This is the easiest way to separate models from my experience, is for doing the UVs and then separating it by shells. Unless you already did that when you were modeling it. Again, this isn't my model, so I had to go in and separate it by hand based off the UVs that the artist did. So I simply, again, went by UV shells, and then that made it really easy to select. So I could demonstrate it actually. So we selected this grip, and now it's a separate element for me to... Oh, why is that? Oh no, I didn't... No, it should be a separate element. There we go, yeah. So now that is a separate element that I can move around and render separately if I wanted to as an attachment. And again, I'm not going to do that. I didn't do that in the game because that's not how I wanted to go about things. I kind of went the lazy way. So anyways... What I did is I went to the side view here, I went to the rigging tab, and then I just simply created a root bone. I'm going to create one right here at the handle. I'm going to go up to the chamber here, and then I'm going to do one that goes right down to the muzzle, where we add our barrel effects, etc. And then I'm simply going to go back into here. I'm going to go back to our gizmo here, go back to modeling, and then that should be all good in there. Yep, awesome. So now it's actually in the weapon. And then I'm going to simply go like this, and then all I did was go up to, where is it? Oh no, we need to go back to rigging, sorry. I went up to skin, I went bind skin, just like that, and then that is quite literally all I did. And then I literally just took this, selected both, and then I hit, I think it was game exporter. And then I went model default. I literally just left everything as default. I chose a directory, so I'll just save this to desktop, right? And then in the file name, I'll literally just call this AR15 Regs Demo. And then I'll just export that. Easy as that. It's literally good to go. Again, this is the lazy way. You should separate the model and then paint weight layers. So when you want to animate a magazine coming out, you can actually separate the pieces. Right now, we've actually got a skeletal mesh that has the bones, but it doesn't have the functionality to separate the bones, which is a very lazy way of doing things. But again, that is how I did it for this. So I'm going to go into my weapons section here. I'm just going to call this a demo AR15. And then I went in here, I simply import it, so rigged, this one right here. And then I will make sure I select skeletal mesh. That should be all we need. Import all. And then that should be everything there. Again, I would assign the materials. So I can quickly open this up and I can actually just assign the materials from my other one real quick. So I think it was... This is a little annoying. It's kind of hard working with one monitor, but should be alright. So I'll get those in there. I'll disable these post-processing effects because of my lighting. And just like that, we have the AR15 imported, all good to go. And again, I didn't name the bones. That's actually something I should have done, and I kind of fucked up there actually. So I was supposed to name this as the root bone, and that's actually very bad that I didn't do that. So I actually need to go back and rename these bones here. So that's actually a big fuck up on my part. So this here needs to be called the root. And the reason why this is the FPS core I'm using, which is like a fundamental system that sort of puts all the pieces together that I design, relies on these sort of names for the bones and things for it to actually work properly when it comes to rigging, socketing, and applying effects and animating, all that good stuff. So joint 2 here, this would be just the chamber. It doesn't really matter. And this one here is the muzzle. So just like that. And now I can select both of these. Export selection. Oh no, sorry. Game exporter. And then I will go to rigged demo. And we'll just call this number 2. Export to desktop. Done. And then we'll go back to Unreal Engine. Close out of this. And then I will go to weapons. And I will call... actually, I'll just go in here. And I'll call this demo... AR15, so this is just another folder, and then I will import that second one there, boom, and then this should be good. I should have the proper names for everything now. So I will quickly just again apply those materials, weapons, AR15, and then I'll just apply these in here. And turn off those post-processing effects so we can actually see what's going on. So, boom. I've imported my weapon. I've rigged it with a root bone and as many bones as I need for animating. So if there was a chamber, if there was attachments. And then the most important one for me is the muzzle. So this is where our bullet actually comes from. I might actually move this up a little bit. No, I can't do that because it's bound to the weapon. That would be dumb. So this is where the actual particle effects spawn. This is where the bullet comes from, and it knows how to properly face, basically. So, effectively, this is the easiest way for me to implement new weapons. I think the AR15 I currently have in the game, this one here, this took me about maybe 10 hours to implement from start to finish. So that includes rigging, importing, creating animations, finding sound effects, designing the sound effects in Vegas using event effects, and then again adding that to my weapon system and rigging it to my character. So all in all, again, 10 hours per weapon. It's actually a pretty quick pipeline if you ask me for adding new weapons. I don't know what I just did there. I just did something really dumb. I'm just going to reload there. I shouldn't need to save. What did I just do, bro? Did I hide the... This is Game Dev 101. What did I just do, bro? Okay, I might have just moved really far away. Yeah, okay. Yeah, right. Okay, we should still be good. Yeah, okay. Ignore that. So, again, I've got my weapon imported here. I've got my muzzle. And then all I need to do is 3 things. So, first I'm going to add a new row. And I'm going to call this AR15 Demo. And then I'm going to start filling out all these rows here. So this is a data file that includes all of the different assets and variables I will need to make a fully functioning weapon. And the best thing about this is again part of the FPS core. This is, I believe, a free plugin on Epic Games that's currently up on 5.3.2. And you can also download the source code for it, make your own additions, and again update it to 5.4 if you wanted to use the latest version of the engine without having to wait for the developers to update the plugin themselves. And again, this is a very simple, straightforward process when creating a new weapon. So the first thing we're going to do is we're actually going to go into our browser, and FPS Core includes 2 preset parent actors or blueprints. So we're going to go to weapons, we're going to go to that demo AR15, and in here we're going to do blueprint. And again, in FPS Core we have 2 functions, a pickup for weapons and a what do you call it, so I'm going to type weapon, sorry. So we have a base, which is the weapon that's actually present on our character, and then we have the weapon pickup. So I'm going to create a weapon pickup, and we're just going to call this BP AR15, or we'll just call this BP Demo. And then I'm, sorry, this is the pickup, right? So I need to call this BP Demo Pickup, just so I don't get confused. Actually, I'll just go Demo Pickup, like so. And then I will, yes, so that is a weapon pickup. Okay, cool. And then I will go back here, and I'll go weapon, and then I'll go weapon base, and I will call this one Demo Base. Again, so we'll go into pickup first, and what I need to do is I need to go to my rigged model here, and I'm going to make a static mesh, and I'm just going to go to blueprints, weapon system, weapons, demo AR, and I'm just going to call this SM Demo AR, and I will import this onto the mesh comp here. So again, these are some preset preset meshes in here, or I guess variables, if you will. Basically just easy fill outs you can do using the FPS core. So we're going to go to static mesh, and we're simply just going to get that AR that we just created, that static mesh, and we're just going to plop that in here. Boom. Now this is what you will actually see on the ground when you pick up the weapon. So I can give you guys an example here. So in the game, oh, low FPS for a second there, I don't know why it's on that. Sometimes it does that when I'm playing in editor. So I've got a weapon rack here. I can go up to the weapon, and I can actually just pick it up. Now I've already got one equipped. I don't know why that happened. Oh, we're finding bugs. Great. I'm just going to, maybe it's because, okay, that's weird. I need to fix that. For some reason that the offset was fucked. But effectively, I have a weapon pickup system. That's kind of buggy. Right now I actually have 2 AR-15s. I also need to fix the, so right now you can have a max of 2 weapons in your inventory, and the third one will get put back where it was, and for some reason the reset axis is the wrong way. So effectively it would go back on the wall, but for some reason it's not. So anyways, that is effectively how this works. That is these are the pickups. So you can customize these with it. So if you wanted to, you could add attachments. So for example, something that I did in my main one, if I try and find it here, M16 base, yeah, so this is my M16 here. This one's actually my own model that I made. And I'm going to take the suppressor, and I'm going to go to my AR demo, and I'm going to place that in here. Now it's in the wrong position, that's fine. I'm going to drag this to the barrel. I'm just going to line this up. I'm just going to go kind of quickly, because we're not doing this properly, or for actual use. So I'm just going to drag this up and center it. like so. Make sure that's kind of in the socket there. Boom, that should be, yeah, that's kind of off-centered still. This can be a little bit time consuming, but you know, you want to make sure it actually is aligned properly. And then that's that. So now I just added an attachment. It's really that easy if I want to add attachments and stuff. Now it is kind of annoying with this preset model that I got from this artist, because it had the attachments are actually a part of the model. Again, as I did in Maya, I could separate those if I wanted to by simply just selecting them, and then I could delete it, separate it, export it out as its own attachment, so forth, right? And that's, I guess, kind of one of the things we could do if I wanted to spend the time doing that. Now, again, I'm not too worried about attachments. That's not something that's actually going to be too present in my game. But anyways, that is all we need to do. Now we have our pickup, and the first thing we need to do is we need to add the data table, which stores all of the weapons, all of the attachments and animations, and then the weapon name, which we'll just call this demo. I think, no, we need to get the proper name, so we called it this, so this in it needs to be accurately spelled out, so I'm going to call this AR15 Demo, and we're just going to save that out, and now we have a weapon pickup. Now, alongside the weapon pickup, now we need to go into the demo base, so this one right here, and this is much the same process, right? In Mesh Comp, we're actually going to add the rigged model, though, and again, that's obviously because it's a skeletal mesh that is effectively an extension of our player character, with the muzzle bone here for the bullets to come out of, etc. We only use we do use a static mesh for the pickup because we don't need it to be a rigged asset, right? That's just logical. And again, we're going to go to the demo base, the top layer here, and again, reference that data table, paste our weapon reference name. Damage type is a variable that I've created that just stores the damage types. There's really only one damage type, and that's hit scan. So all the weapons in my game for the player hit scan. The AI will be projectile based though, because I do tend to notice that AI with hit scan is very aimbot like. It's very hard to dodge, but when you make AI projectile based, it is actually more realistic to dodge and actually, you know, have a fair chance against. You know, I don't want godlike AI. It's a story game at heart. So, yeah. So again, recovery curve, I actually will just do what I set. I don't know what I set my... To recall recovery curves, so I'm using float curves, which is an engine... I think they are in miscellaneous... Yeah, curves. So it's an engine parent class that you can use to effectively create recoil curves and all that kind of stuff, which the FPS core uses. So I'm going to plug that in. Why did that not select? That's hella annoying. I'm going to pick that, plug that in there. And then ejector casing. This is something that I actually haven't added yet, which I plan to add. And that uses Niagara. So again, it's very well optimized as well from the get-go. It's a very straightforward system. So now we have our weapon and we have our weapon pickup. We can go back to the data table and pickup reference. We can go demo pickup. And now we have it referenced, and then the demo pickup is referencing the basically all referencing each other. So it's all linked now. So the pickup is linked, the base weapon is linked, and it's really that simple. So we are going to... Oh, actually, I almost missed this here. That would have been bad. So demo base, so we have it linked here. We have it linked here. Really is that easy. Now we need to go to the data table again, and in the data table, I don't think I compiled one of those. Sure, compile those. In the data table, we can now start filling out these fields. So for length multiplier, this is how far the tracer goes in units before it disappears. I just do 10,000. Hit scan, decent length. We don't need to worry about it too much. Usually there'll be a wall obstruct it before it actually reaches a max distance. Base damage, I usually just go... Let's go for the... I don't think I even added this for the AR15. That's my bad. So I'll do that later. That's actually my main damage stats. So again, I'm going to go and fill out these variables here. So you can... This is also very easy for me to tweak values and effectively do balance changes. So if I want to change the base damage, I'll just go like 30. So out of 100, generally the AI is going to have 100 HP. So we'll do a 30. So it's a 4-shot kill to the body. Headshot multiplier will go 1.5. Which would mean, I think, mathing, that's 45, so take three bullets to kill in the head. let's go a little bit more generous. Let's go 1.6. And then weapon degradation rate. That's something I'm not going to do in my game. That's effectively, over time, the weapon will break, like Rust or any game that has durability. I don't really want to do that in my game. That's not my kind of thing. So we have variation here. This is where you would add a variation if you're shooting from the hip. So we'll add a little bit of that in there. I don't see why not. We're not using attachments. Again, we could use those attachments if we separated them in Maya, but that is fine. Now I'm going to use my rigged animations that I've already created, so I don't need to create new ones, because this was probably the lengthiest process for me, was creating the animations for a weapon. This probably takes a solid 3 hours, because you, again, want to make sure the animations look good and they actually work properly with the weapon. You know, I'm very new to view model animating myself, so first person animating. So I'll actually give you guys a demo now of the AR15. So I'll go full screen here. So currently we're using, I think I'm pretty happy with a lot of it, other than the reload animation. You'll see why in a sec, but so I've just got a print in the top left for my ammo counter, by the way, so I know what it's at. And I can pick ammo up. These are ammo boxes that I designed. I think they look pretty cool. Fender hollow points, sort of lore accurate. And then this is the reload animation. It's not the most crazy thing in the world, but I think it does give a decent representation of what I'm going for. And as you can see, what I've sneakily done is, because I didn't separate the magazine and Maya and make it an attachment for animating with a bone in the rigging, is I just make it so the gun hides off the screen while you're swapping the mag out, so you actually don't see it, which is kind of just a sneaky way of me covering that up, but it still looks like you're reloading. So I thought that was pretty cool. Sounds I'm actually pretty happy with. It took me a while to find good free sounds, and then mess around with them with Vegas effects like reverbs and just effects in general. And yeah, this is sort of the weapon, you know. It's got sprinting animations, sliding's kind of hard in this small space. If you can hear the music, there's going to be a radio right here that you can turn on and off in the shooting range. This is the shooting range, by the way, so this is where you're going to be able to test weapons in the full game. It's a single player game, but I still want there to be a depth of, or a customization depth, so I am going to add attachments way down the line. But as I've said, that's not my priority right now. It's just make sure I get like a number of weapons out there that I can actually use. I believe the sound I actually found for this was an M4A1, or just an M4 suppressed, but I think that's very close to an AR15 as well, so I kind of just went with it. I'll actually get onto my iron sights material as well in a sec here. I'm actually really happy with how it turned out. So basically the red dot is always in the center of the screen no matter what. You can move, you can jump, that red dot will always be in the center of your screen, so you always know where you're aiming. And the bullet will also always go in the center of the screen. There is recoil, but your crosshair will adjust with that. So effectively, you will never not know where you're aiming. I really hate a current trend in FPS games where there is like crosshair shake or crosshair deviation. Like, recoil is fine, but I think visual recoil is the dumbest thing to come to FPS games, and that is something I did not want to do at all. So I basically I wanted to make sure that the crosshair is dead in the center of the screen regardless. So as you can see, there is an idle animation that is playing where the weapon is sort of bobbing and stuff, because a human isn't always steady and 100% static. Unlike Counter-Strike, but Counter-Strike I don't mind. I think that's an arcade tactical shooter, that's completely fine. But again, the red dot is always in the center, and while your weapon is moving, you can clearly see that it is staying in the center. It's always on the head of that player regardless. And that is something really important. It was very important for me, because again, I fucking hate visual recoil. I think it's fucking stupid. If you have a red dot, you can see where that red dot is, and you know where to micro adjust. So again, if I hold down the trigger, there is a recoil, but your red dot will always follow that recoil pattern, so you know exactly how to control. So if you have good recoil control, you can fucking beam, is what I'm trying to say. So that was very important for me. And again, I do have a very sort of basic reload, and I kind of like the reload animation, but I also think it needs a little bit of improvement. It does feel a little bit lifeless, but I don't mind it. Maybe it needs it to be a little bit faster. I'm not too sure. But again, this is my first fully fleshed out weapon that I've made for Vendor, and I'm really, really happy with how it's turned out. You know, it was a lot of fun to make, and again, it took me around 10 hours to fully implement. And again, we'll go back to the implementation process here. So we'll start filling out all these variables, so I think that's good. And then I'm just going to, I don't know if I can copy these. I can. Okay, so I'm literally going to copy these and just paste these over. So I actually didn't know you could do that in Unreal. I always used to just find it in browser and then do this one. I did not know you could actually just paste them across. That's really cool. So effectively, there's a bunch of different preset animation states that I can tweak. So we have a blend space walk. So this is hip fire walking. And then we have ADS walking. I can actually quickly show these. So again, the post-processing coming in here, absolutely giving us a sight for our eyes. So I'll pause this here. So again, there is a what is it? Control? It's control. So there's a little bit of a tilt that goes on depending on the direction you're going. Now the hand isn't completely lined up with the actual thing, and I'm completely fine with that. You actually don't even see the left hand at all, so I'm not too worried about that personally. It's probably lazy. I probably should, you know, do it, but it's not the biggest concern. But again, the animation state's really simple. Just slight tweaks, tilting the weapon left, right, forward, or back, depending on the direction you're going. That gives you that sense of, you know, you're actually moving. Because let's say we just had the forward animation for left, right, back, and forward. It would look very unnatural. So that sort of leaning, I think that's very natural. It looks very like you're actually a player that's holding a weapon that has weight to it. Again, this is I hate milsim and sort of things that make gameplay very annoying, but this was sort of a thing that, and again, there's something I also want to point out. Your bullet will still go to the center of the screen, so your weapon may tilt to the left, but your bullet will still go to the center of the screen. It does kind of look weird, but again, I want the player to shoot where they're shooting. So if I pull up, I think I have a debug somewhere. I'm not going to worry about it right now, actually, but effectively speaking, the bullet will always go to the center of the screen, no matter what the animation is. Now, you can't shoot while sprinting. That would be kind of weird. You obviously can't shoot while reloading. So I've got that basic functionality in there. Actually, I'm starting to... The reload animation I made is actually starting to grow on me, I'm not going to lie. Anyways, the... basically, this is the blend spaces for my walking and ADSing. So if I go back here, so again, blend space for walk and walk ADS. Then we have animation idles. These are literally just animation assets. So again, everything sort of blends together behind the scenes really well. Again, I'm just gonna copy these forward over here, paste, and then we'll grab the reloads here, paste this in here. What am I at? We need another reload. Oh no, this is the... So one of these, sorry, yeah, I actually do remember that now. So, actually, I can quickly demo that as well. So, when you get to the end of a mag, so... Oh, that's also another thing. You can reload 31 bullets. So, if I shoot a whole mag out, I load a round of 30 bullets in, right? And it does that, that click. He does that with the right hand, so I didn't need to create an animation for that. It's kind of cheeky. You can actually reload again and get 31 bullets because we've chambered around. Now, again, this isn't... You're taking out a whole mag of 29 bullets to swap a fresh 30-round mag in. Doesn't really make sense. Your bullets always do go back into your stockpile, though, so if you wanted to, you can load 31 bullets in. So if I press R now, as you can see, I now have 31 bullets loaded. If I press K, I can also see how much ammo I have in total. These ammo boxes are set up as infinite in the shooting range, by the way. I can set the amount they hold, but so right now I have 500 rounds in reserve. But so if I reload at any point before finishing the mag, it doesn't do the click because we still have a bullet chambered. But if we shoot a round or a magazine all the way to the end, when we reload, it will do the click to chamber a round. I was really happy with how that turned out. I think it again really turned out pretty fucking cool. Really nice turnout. And the other one here, I did just finish doing a inspect animation, but I haven't created a bind for it yet in my input mapping. So that's that. And then where is it? Weapon equip. I haven't created equips yet. So you just instantly switch between weapons. Yep, so it can be chambered, and then again, it's just a bunch of checkboxes on what kind of weapon you're making. Again, it's quite literally as simple as reading what it is and checking the boxes relative to what it is. You can adjust the FOV, that's when you aim in, so I'll set this one to 45, so it'll zoom in, we'll notice it zooming in much more. Scope magnification, I usually go around 10, and then the unmagnified FOV I just leave as is. Muzzle location, this refers to the bone that we created in our rigging for the weapon. So we will go here, and in here I will add a socket, and muzzle socket is the name that we want. We could name it something else. Again, muzzle socket is the naming convention I've been using and I'm going to stick to. So in muzzle location, I'm certainly going to paste that value in there. Muzzle spawn location, that is also the same, so I'm just going to paste that in there as well. Ammo to use, rifle ammo. I've got 4 different ammo types. Pistol, rifle, shotgun, special, which could be rockets or sniper ammo. And then clip size, we'll go 30. Clip capacity, 30 as well. I think that's what I did for the AR, yep. Rate of fire for an AR-15. This is again where a little bit of the research side of things comes in. I went with around 600 to 700, so we'll go 650 for this. Actually, we'll make this one a high fire rate compared to my other one. So again, AR-15s generally shoot from anywhere from 600 to 700 rounds per minute. And then we add our recoil curves in here. So I use the CM16 vert. Copy that here. Paste. Insert the bias and horizontal. These I'm going to tweak later on. I'm kind of just using one for all right now, just so I can get a place for the what do you call it? The recoil, like a feeling for the weapon before I tweak it down. Like proper weapon recoil, I'm not going to touch like way until I actually want to create a demo build of the game. And you know, I'm probably a solid half a year away from even getting a demo build out. I would like to think that I'll get a demo build out in the next few months, but I've still got a long ways to go for my AI, so that's sort of at the forefront right now. Oh, I did forget to check the automatic fire button, so basically a toggle if you can hold down the trigger and it automatically fires, which ties into that rate of fire as well. And then for other stuff in here, yep, so we have FPS core hands, jump start, jump in, jump full. Oh. Just fill these in here. Jump end. And then jump full. If your score hands full, there we go. And then normal damage surfaces, I've only set metal up so far, so there's only an effect when you hit metal. We'll simply hit these in there. Boom. And then enemy hit effects. I'm pretty much just using this for most of them. And then for our muzzle, AR15. This is just a simple Niagara smoke. Actually, I can quickly open it up. So this is a very simple particle effect. It's quite literally just a small puff of smoke because the weapon is suppressed. I do have one for the weapon not suppressed, but again, this is a very stealth-based game. The bullet tracer is the main whip tracer. These effects I actually got originally from the military weapon silver pack, which is free on Epic Games. They are cascade effects though, which is legacy, so I converted them to Niagara, which did present a bunch of its own issues that I had to resolve. But once I got that sorted, they were pretty smooth, flawless effects. I did want to make a couple tweaks to them because some of them were quite unrealistic. But after tweaking them, they turned out pretty nice and pretty realistic, and I'm happy with how they are. The M16Q, I can actually pull this up and show you guys how this works. So this is some old sounds that I was messing with, so I move these out of the way. So what I do is I grab the sound, and I usually bump the sound up as a gun. It's quite loud and weighty. And then I set an attenuation, so this is sort of how the weapon sound reacts to the environment, to objects around it. Unreal Engine's got a pretty good audio system for that kind of stuff, for attenuation, which is really nice. And then again, we can create those preset profiles or blueprints and just slot them in, and basically we can use that for as many weapons as we want. So weapon shot close, I can simply use that same attenuation for most weapons. Maybe I want to create a different one for like a more specialized weapon, like a sniper or a launcher, maybe even a pistol one a little bit quieter. But for the most part, this is a pretty good profile that I've been using for most of my guns. And I grab that sound and I simply plug it into a modulator. This just gives the weapon a bit of randomness, so it sort of sounds different each time you shoot it. And it's not much, it's actually a very small amount, but it gives it enough of a difference so it doesn't sound repetitive, which is very important when it comes to gun sounds and all that kind of stuff, is you don't want that repetition, otherwise it kind of sounds very two-dimensional. And then we just simply plug that into the output, and that's that. And then I go to the back to the blueprint here, so then we can add a weapon name. So I'll call this AR15. Oh, sorry. Drag this in here. I'll call this AR15 Demo, and this is the weapon name that shows up when you hover over the weapon to pick it up. And you can even create a weapon icon here, which you can call for in blueprint widgets or interaction widgets or whatever have you not. So that's pretty much everything. We have the weapon fully set up with animations. And now if we go to the weapons tab here, and we actually grab the AR15, the Demo AR15, Demo AR, and I'll just drag this over here, and I'll just literally put it in the air. I don't really care. We're just debugging it right now. So, as you may have noticed, that is a problem. So I left gravity on the pickup here. So mesh comp gravity. We'll turn that one off there, because that will cause us issues. Alright, so now if I put this on... why is it not rendering? That's not good. Why would that be doing that? Actually, I have a feeling that I exported something with different world offsets than the mesh we imported previously. All I need to do is swap this out for my main one. So if I go IK gun, so that's what I forgot. IK gun is where we're actually rigging the weapon. That is something that I forgot to do. That's bad on me. And I'll set this to 100,000 too. And set this to 32. Boom. Okay, that's what I forgot to do. That's on me. That's a pretty simple mistake. It's usually always the easiest thing that is the one that causes you problems. And now, great. Okay, we got it working. The animations again. We're getting that bug. Hang on. What I'm actually just gonna do is I'm simply going to go to the FPS character. No. Yes. And I'm going to set that as the preset. So I'm going to set this as demo base. So we just spawn on with the weapon, because that's a pickup bug that we're now dealing with. Okay, boom. Just like that. Now we don't have a sight, and that is because I haven't actually added that in. So with my previous blueprints for the main AR15, this one here, I added a sight attachment, and this is actually very cheeky way of doing this. So I have a attachment that I use for most weapons, but I wanted to use the scope that the artist made for the AR15 instead of the Walter PK red dot, which does look great, and I do use it for a lot of my weapons, but I didn't want to use it specifically for this weapon. And all I did was add a transparent material to the red dot piece, and then I kept the red dot. And as you can see, the red dot is even in the editor in the center of my screen at all times. So I actually want to show the material behind my red dot, and how it's quite flexible, and I can change the colors for it and everything. So if I wanted to expose this variable in a widget for the player to change around to any RGB value they wanted to for their red dot, they can easily do that, which is fantastic. And the way the material actually works is we use an opacity layer, and this is where all the logic and the math comes in. So we're grabbing the screen position, the view size, and we're, doing a bunch of math here that I still don't understand because I followed a tutorial. And then we're chucking that into a clamp, and that clamp is basically making sure it's only one on the screen. If I mess around with it, I don't want to mess around with it because I'll probably break it, but effectively it is the perfect red dot. I literally haven't... it's perfect. It is literally the perfect red dot. I can't complain. I cannot complain. So anyways, that is the AR15, and what I can actually do is I'll go to my main AR15, and I'll actually take that M3 Panini site, and we can paste that in demo base in the sites, and that should also already be rigged to the proper position. So if I just line up here in the center of the screen, we should see a red dot. Yep, just like that, we can see the red dot. And that's literally that. That's an entire weapon done. Again, most of the brunt work is in those animations, which takes a solid few hours because you're actually making an animation in an artistic perspective that looks realistic, right? So a lot of the technical work with my current workflow is very simple. The most lengthy part is probably rigging and separating out the parts to do a weapon properly, but again... Oh wow, that deviation is strong. Let's turn that down because that is kind of appalling. That should be dead accurate now. There we go. Just like that. And it even has our head effects set up, the physical material. And then we can back ammo up and we can reload. And just like that, we have implemented a weapon from start to finish. I didn't show the animation process again because that would literally just be a time lapse. It's quite simply just keyframing and moving around bones in my FPS controller with an animation asset. But yeah, that is pretty sweet. I can actually quickly show the weapon animation, or weapon sound, sorry. So again, I found weapon sounds online, and all I do is bring them into Vegas and I chop them up. So there's a reload. I think this is the clip reload. Yep. And then we've got the unload. And then over here, I think we have a shot. Yep, and it's literally that simple for me to get sounds. I just export them as WAV files, import them on Unreal Engine, and I create sound cues. Again, my weapon system is pretty flawless, and it's pretty simple as well. So, again, I'm really happy with how it turned out. And again, 10 hours per weapon. I'm aiming to have a lot of weapons in this game. Again, that's sort of the main content when it comes to an FPS game is weapons. People always say maps. I disagree. I think weapons are the main form of content when it comes to FPS games. So yeah, that is a big, deep breakdown of how I do a weapon start to finish. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next video where I cover some map design, which I'm pretty interested to share. So yeah, peace.